Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ken and Mark Show.
Or how I learned to stop worrying and just call it football.
I don't know why I did that. The show where the opinions are made up and the shape of the balls does not matter. Wow.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with how you said that.
It is early in the morning. I am a little bit loopy. Didn't go to bed till after I should have. But, you know, that's what happens when you get old.
When you're an adult, you can make those decisions for yourself now.
How you doing, Kenny?
Not bad, man. Not bad. We've got another Omicron variant, or a COVID variant called Omicron that's now called something else.
It's Omicron B something, right?
Yeah, it's like, why don't you just call it a different name? If it's a different variant, just call it something different. I mean, I imagine the scientists have a reason, probably because it has more of an Omicron. Yeah. Anyways, I could go on and on about that COVID, but unlike the news and people, pandemics, wars. I mean, it's just classic humanity.
It's another brilliant Sunday in America.
Yeah, I mean, how about yourself, man? How you doing this morning?
I could use a little more sleep, but obviously that's not going to happen. So, up and at 'em, right?
That's because you're a hero. That's your hero for not getting enough sleep. I mean, and doing this podcast. I'm sorry.
More on that later. Okay. It is time now for the Whirlwind Week in Review.
Oh shit.
There we go. We got the tornado back, baby. All right.
It was a lot funner to do the tornado without video because it made no sense.
I missed that.
I can't remember why the first time I did that. It was just like
I don't know.
And I never thought about, like, what did you think about that? We're in a purely audio format. This man just did a visual gag.
I thought it was brilliant. I love visual gags on the radio. It's perfect.
They always work.
All right. Let's see. So there's not a whole lot going on. Well, I guess there's March Madness, there's soccer, and we're still not at hockey playoffs. So let me talk about that. Did you catch any of the March Madness?
Yeah,
I heard what happened. I didn't see any of it.
There was a Duke and North Carolina had it. Like the first game, Kansas Villanova, Kansas number 1 seed. They had too much for Villanova. It was just It wasn't really a game. I mean, they seemed like they have a 10-point lead the whole time, so it just never became a basketball game. But Duke, North Carolina had a classic until it came down to like last minute, and then this Duke guy missed 2 free throws and then just Duke couldn't get back into it. Right. But one thing I don't understand is you're down by 3. There's 10 seconds left. Why wouldn't you try to? And the Duke guy penetrate. I understand penetrating, trying to get the bucket, but then you got to hope that you foul them and they miss. I mean, there's just so much. Why wouldn't you just 10 seconds? Kids shoot 3-pointers like all the time these days. Yeah. Just hold the ball for that last shot and try to go to overtime. That's what. Right. If I'm Coach K, with the amount of 3-pointers kids shoot nowadays, I'm doing that. I'm not going to have them try to, because there's too much can go wrong. I mean, I'd rather have the final shot in my hand than hoping for free throws to get missed and all. It's just.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the thought is you drive to the basket, they foul you, you get the 3-point play.
Hopefully, but again, you got to make the layup first, and then. If
I'm the defending team though, and I'm up by 3,
I'm just gonna let you. I'm just gonna let you. Yeah.
I'm just gonna let him
go. I'm
not
gonna foul you.
Yeah. All right. So our national championship game is set. Kansas v. North Carolina. All is right with the world again after all the Cinderella upsets in the tournament.
Yeah, just like that's how it always goes. Like there's it seems like ever since I want to say about 10 years ago, like maybe even longer, like BCU and all these, there was like these Cinderellas are now like almost a mainstay of college basketball.
Yeah.
Because the higher seeds, they just don't have the talent like they used to. Like for one, talent doesn't have to stay in college, which to me,
that's
if you're 18,
It's
If you're good
kind
enough
of
to play that one and done thing,
yeah.
you just
Well,
need to get rid of it.
that's kind of what the NBA has kind of done to college basketball. Like the traditional powerhouses don't have the same draw for players anymore, because the great players know they're not going to be there that long, and then it keeps them from constructing a roster with 4 years worth of really good talent on it. And so it's easier for a no-name school to make a run.
Because that's why I don't like, if I'm at a pretty, let's say in a top 5 conference school, it's almost like you should recruit not like the big stars, recruit guys that are just a little bit below that, and then get them to stay at your school for 3, maybe even 4 years if you're lucky, and build that team. Because it seems like all the Cinderellas are guys that they play together for 3 or 4 years. It's that teamwork that gets them to beat those teams. The teams that are just constantly changing over their roster. It's got to be hard on a coach. I'd almost rather them, if I was a head coach of a major school, get rid of the one and done, because I get the kid for a year. I design an offense around him, and then he's gone. I got to do it. It's like that just be too much like work.
Yeah, it's an interesting side effect of that NBA rule.
It's just I think they institute it because they said like, well, there were so many kids trying to go from high school to the NBA, and that they didn't, like, more of them don't make it than not. So they want to, if you're just going for 1 year and then going to NBA, what's the point? Just get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's had the effect the NBA wanted it to have on NBA players, but
I mean, college football, I at least understand the kid, like these guys, football is more of the bigger, it's a contact sport, so you at least want them to mature physically before they go to the NFL and get their heads ripped off.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, but some of these 18-year-olds who look at him, it's like, man, he's 6'5", 300 pounds. I think he could probably play in the NFL from at 18.
Well, a little bit of NFL news this morning. There's a congressional committee investigating the Washington Commanders for antitrust violations and
for being horrible.
Well, and what they uncovered this morning
antitrust, what?
On top of all the other garbage that Daniel Snyder has been accused and somewhat proven of doing, this may be the thing that finally gets him kicked out of the NFL.
Really?
Apparently, the Washington Commanders had a scheme to withhold the visiting team's ticket revenue from the revenue sharing pool.
What?
So they were essentially stealing money from the NFL under Daniel Snyder's control.
It couldn't have been that much.
No, it's ticket revenue.
He's got to make more in interest off his own bank accounts than that ticket sales.
Yes, but that's not why rich people steal. Rich people steal because they can. That's the only reason.
That's true.
They don't need it. They don't need the money. They steal because they can get away with it. That's why they do it.
See,
but the irony
at least when I steal, it's because I'm poor.
The irony of this whole thing: sexual assault allegations on top of sexual assault allegations on top of financial mismanagement allegations. None of that stuff got Daniel Snyder kicked out of the league. This is the one thing that might do it.
Is he like the Al
Capone on tax return?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the Al Capone
tax evasion
of the fucking NFL. Like they're gonna kick him out on a technical. It's because you mess with the NFL's money.
Exactly. It's because
now
you messed with everyone else's money, and now
you can rape. Rape all the women you want.
That was the bridge too far.
Oh God! Of course it is. I mean,
just amazing.
The NFL. How does the NFL keep making bad decisions after bad decisions?
Well, the irony of it is the other owners will allow you to continue making bad decisions after bad. Look at the Cleveland Browns for years.
Yeah, it's true.
It is statistically impossible for the Cleveland Browns to just happen to be as awful as they are. Yet they're awful.
I mean, you can almost say like the NFL is like the hardcore drugs of the sports world. You can keep making bad decisions
Yes.
And people keep coming back to you.
Yes.
I mean, even though
the
they
only
know
thing,
it's detrimental to their own. I mean, even the players detrimental to their own health. They just keep coming back.
and the only thing that can get you into rehab is by stealing the NFL's money. That's the only thing.
Poor Dana Snyder, you gotta go. Just say you gotta go to rehab.
just say you're taking some time off to spend it with your family, even though they probably hate you too.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a nice person.
No.
Like, do you think when the NFL has the owners meeting, like when he walks in, they all get quiet? They're like, we weren't talking about you, Daniel.
Yes. Yeah.
Like when
right.
like when he's like the new Al Davis, except Al Davis was just dumb. Like he was just a crazy guy with owned a football team.
Right. Daniel Snyder is just a crazy guy. And he doesn't have any of the charm that Al Davis had.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any of the ideas that Al Davis had. He's just an asshole.
He definitely can't pull off the athletic suit, like the windbreaker suit.
Hang on a second.
Is your bomb about ready to explode?
Somebody called me on my phone.
Who calls
I don't know.
on their phones?
I don't know.
It almost makes me think like I should turn down my volume on my phone.
That was weird. I thought it was off. That's why it kind of startled me. All right.
I'm just gonna turn down my notification volume. Oh,
all right.
Phones.
EPL, Ken.
Yes.
Soccer time. Okay, so the title race is still on. Both Manchester City and Liverpool won yesterday, keeping them 1 point apart.
When do they play? They play each other pretty soon.
They play each other next Sunday. So a week from today is the match that could decide the title.
I get to watch my two favorite teams go at it. Manchester City and Liverpool.
You get to be a Man City fan for a day. How's that gonna feel?
No, I'm just not a fan of either team. If they could both somehow lose. I know a tie is like sometimes losing, but no, you get a point for it. Like if they could somehow get negative points for each of them. The
statistic.
It's like worse. It was always okay if one of them was good, but now that both of you are good, it's like,
yeah.
What are we doing? Suck. Yeah. Like, and we can't do shit. So it's like, I just want to shoot myself in the face.
Well, so the statistic that got me, and just looking through the coverage yesterday, like, so three of the top four scorers in the league are Liverpool players, and three of the top four assist makers in the league are Liverpool players. How does that happen? Like,
you're really good.
Well,
you guys are really good.
But what usually happens is you get a lot of assists from spreading it around, or you get a few assists to the same people all the time, and they score the goals. You've got two things going on here.
Yeah, you got to look at the people. You got your assist leaders and your assist leader and Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I just love that guy. I would give anything if we could buy him. Like I love a good fullback. Fullback's my favorite position. It's my favorite position because it's like a tight end. Like a tight end gets to like run block and also go for passes like that. I love a position where you have to do two things at least, like where you got to play defense, but also you got to be able to go up and actually provide some offensive. I just love Trent. What he does, he's been a revelation at Liverpool. I just got to say.
So
you got Mo Salah.
Trent is the leader. Andy Robertson is number 2 on the opposite side, and then Mo Salah is number 3. So, Mo Salah
they're tied at 10. So technically both 2.
All right. So Mo Salah has the second most assists in the league. He also has the most goals. Like, how does that happen?
Well, apparently
it's the Wayne Gretzky of the EPL right now.
Yeah, if soccer had a point system, he definitely would be the leader in the house. Like, well, Mo Salah, like, Liverpool should get an award for like picking up pain for a guy like. Can you imagine only what was it, 30 million pounds for a guy that's leading son of a bitch? That thing, get that horrible thing off of the screen.
A really great friend got me this. I don't know why
You know
you're.
what? That friend of yours is a complete asshole. And you tell him I said that. I don't know who would buy something like that.
I know.
Money.
It's kind of a
their own money.
Who would do that?
I'm like, that person like almost supported like helping them buy other people by buying swag from Liverpool. And no, but it's
well, actually, what did that was this guy. See, this guy right here is the other.
I knew that stuff was coming back to haunt that person who bought that. It's just like it's like a voodoo doll.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mo Salah's just Jurgen Klopp has got a team there that. I mean, it's safe to say that the Liverpool Renaissance is for real. It wasn't a one-off. It wasn't like a fluke. Only a couple seasons, and they're going to come back down to earth. I mean, the Fenway Group, I think that's the one that owns them. Like they're really smart in their transfer policy. They don't overspend. If they do splash cash, they kind of sell other players to kind of recoup. Yeah. I mean, they're basically. Everybody's going to try to, because the United policy of just going out and spending, it's not working. So
yeah, it hasn't recently.
No, it's horrible, and you can't bring back nostalgic players. Just it's fun, but not going to lead to wins.
Well, so in watching that game yesterday, the one thing that stood out to me though that is troubling is Liverpool is still very prone to defensive lapses. They that the Van Dijk and second person partnership, they don't have that. They don't have that sorted out. Yeah, to a point where it was in the championship season where they weren't giving up any. Like Allison is having to bail them out far too often, and it's like against a team like City though, they're not going to miss the chances that Watford did yesterday.
True.
So but, it's like
unless Raheem Sterling has the ball, then he'll probably miss some point blank. I mean, he'll make the hardest goal, but he'll miss the point blank, like open, just tap it in. He'll just put that wide. But
it's one of those guys that you have to make do the most impossible thing, and then he'll do it. But like the walk-in goal, that's tougher.
And it's just. It's going to be an epic. I mean, this is the title game, pretty much.
Yes.
And I don't think the EPL couldn't ask for a better. I mean, the season's almost over, and you're going to have your two best teams are going to face off for basically the title.
And it's a tough week for Liverpool too. We got Champions League game Wednesday.
Oh, that must be nice.
So
I feel so bad for you. You got to play in the Champions League quarterfinals. Oh, poor baby. We got to somehow manage being in the Champions League and then playing for the championship. This is so terrible. Oh my God.
It's difficult. I don't know how.
We got to keep playing for silverware. This is tiring.
Brentford, 4-1.
I liked you better when you were a City fan. When Liverpool sucked.
I can always go back to that. Give it a minute.
You can't lose.
Brentford, 4-1 over Chelsea yesterday, and they're all goals scored in the second half. How about that? I don't know what to make of Chelsea. Like, I don't know where they're at. I don't know what they're doing.
Well,
I don't know if they know what they're doing.
The club's in a little bit of disarray.
Well, yeah, there's that. Did you hear?
I don't know why.
Roman Abramovich was poisoned.
What?
Did you hear that?
Are you kidding me?
No. So he went. Him and a bunch of other guys went to Moscow to try and negotiate an end to hostilities. and they were apparently all poisoned. They're not dead, but they're all sick.
Oh my
The
God.
weirdest thing.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Abramovich hospitalized.
Yeah.
By tear gas, not poison, claims Turkish media. Everything we
well-
know about Abramovich poisoning. Yeah, I'll believe. Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
insane. I did not hear about this.
Yeah.
Them Russians, they love their poison. They'll poison
They,
you. with a drop of a hat.
they do. It's the
They
weirdest
love
thing.
their, like, I wouldn't expect, like, see, poison seems like such a, like, exotic thing. Like, it should be
Yes.
like a like Italian, Spanish, some kind, it's like, it's got a flavor to it. It's poison. Like,
It's romantic.
all that. It's
romantic.
Russia.
Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah, no.
Shoot. With drink vodka and shoot. Like, that's what I expect from Russia. Like, not poison. Yeah, but they love it. They can't get enough of the poison. They love
It's so,
poison.
and the more exotic the poison, the better it is.
Oh,
Polonium, like who had ever heard of that prior to Russians poisoning people with it?
it's like a Russian. It's like a Russian guy at a nuclear reactor in like Chernobyl. Hey, look, we got polonium over here. Grab that.
Oh, because we use
poison
this.
people with it.
Let's use
With
this
poison.
for something.
Alexei don't look too good. I think that stuff's poisonous. Grab it up. We give it to Putin.
Wow. And the elephant in the room, Ken. The
war in Ukraine.
The last 2 hours of my day yesterday were spent watching Manchester United and Leicester City.
Why would you do that to yourself?
I was asking myself the same question after the first half.
That first half is the worst first half of football I've ever watched.
What is going on? Yeah.
I'll tell you what. When you have a interim manager doesn't know what he's doing, who is a lame duck. Like, you have a lame duck of an interim manager, fire him, just get rid of him and have one of the assistants take over for it. Because the players aren't going to play for him because they know he's not going to be around in like 7 weeks. He's leaving. So why would you listen to a guy? Like, are you going to fight hard for a guy you know is not going to be there?
No.
Like, you might as well, I bet, get an assistant that the guy's kind of like, there's an assistant coach somewhere that the guys actually talk to, who's been there all season.
Right.
If you're a good manager or a good higher up at United, that's what you should do, because this manager is making all the horrible decisions. It's like we had someone. It's like he's poisoning us with his stupidity. I mean, he's pulling off like Mourinho moves, like not playing a striker. I'm sorry, we've got strikers. You can go to our academy and get a young striker. Don't pull this Mourinho like, I've got to play a false nine because I don't have enough strikers to do not buy me. It's like, you're not going to be around, buddy. Why are you doing this to us? A false nine, it doesn't make any sense. He says we don't have the players. We don't, like, what?
No, you have the players. Like, I can list off that roster.
When you have a 200 million pounds sitting on the bench, I'm sorry, you have the players. You're just not playing them.
Yeah, there are guys. I mean, there are half a dozen guys on your bench that would start for most teams in the league.
I think it's time we don't need to be in the Champions League. We don't need to be in Europe for a year. We're not good enough. So I think I hope we don't make Champions League, because hopefully that'll get rid of some of these contracts and people. We can actually sell some players like Jesse Lingard. You know how horrible, like, in the locker room.
Why are they hanging on to him the way they are? Because, like, I don't see
it's out of spite almost.
but spite to whom? Like, it's only hurting you.
This is how smart United are. We bought Paul Pogba for 100 million pounds, and instead of selling him, he's been talking about leaving the last 3 years. Right. And I'm under the personal, like, how I feel about players at my soccer team. Like, if you don't want to be there, just get rid of them. There's like, Pogba hasn't been special enough to be like, oh, we have to hold on to him. But now we've held on to him for so long, he's going to leave on a free transfer.
Right, which is like the weirdest thing. Like, you're not going to get any of that money back. I
mean, you could have sold him for 60 million to PSG. I mean, at least recoup some money.
Right.
This is just, I mean, that's bad transfer policy. I mean, the guy is going to talk about leaving the last 3 fucking years. Just get rid of him. That's bad shit in the locker room. Like you didn't have, like under Ferguson, you didn't hear any of that shit. You know, if you did, the guy left.
Right.
He certainly didn't start the motherfucker. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. I just don't know. I don't understand some of the decisions that are being made, and I don't understand the logic behind the strategy.
As long as it gets me Pochettino, that's all I care about.
Well, so did you watch the game?
Yeah, I watched most of it. Most I could stomach.
Did you hear the commentary that they're not actually looking at Pochettino? They're looking at the head coach of Ajax right now. He's the favorite, apparently, according to the commentary team.
Well, that's why they talk about. I missed that part about. I remember hearing Tim Howard talk about Ajax. I'm like, why is he talking about Ajax?
Yeah.
I didn't hear the part about
the Ajax. Yeah, the Ajax manager is the favorite to take over. So, again, like
I never get what I want.
And no shade to the Ajax manager. Yeah. Ajax is really good, but Ajax plays in the Netherlands, and they don't play in England, and they're they're not Manchester United.
Pochettino knows the league. He's been proven he can handle big clubs. I don't know.
He knows the league. He knows players. Players respond to him. I don't understand. Like I'm kind of hoping you guys hold off on Pochettino long enough that when Klopp retires in 2024, Pochettino can just move on over to Liverpool.
I hate your face. I hate your face. I hate looking at
because I don't understand why that trigger hasn't been pulled yet. I mean, it's been 2.5 years.
We have made bad coaching decision after bad, like from Moyes to Van Gaal, and then Mourinho, and then it's just.
I don't get it.
It's not gonna. I'll say this: it's not gonna get better for United anytime soon, unless it needs to start at the top. We need a great director of football and a manager to go with him.
Remember how we were talking about Arsenal for the past 3 or 4 years that they just need to blow up the team? I think that's what needs to happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I understand, okay, that there's going to be a lot of money that you don't get back, but it's better than continuing to throw bad money after bad money.
Yeah. Good money after bad. It's just, there's a core, like, I'm only keeping guys that actually want to be there and fight for this club because they want to fight for their position. Like at Manchester United, we are a big enough club and have enough respect, but we're eroding that every year. We're losing more and more respect to people wanting to come here. And it's like, at some point you got to stop the bleeding and just.
So give me 3 guys. Give me 1 guy at each position, defense, midfield, forward, that you want to keep and build around.
Okay. I keep Luke Shaw on defense.
Okay.
He's fought through all the bullshit and has steadily come out as, I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw. I think he's a great fullback. And in midfield, man, I don't know. Like, I'm not really married to anybody in midfield. Fernandez. Yeah, that's the easy one. And then up front, I would like to say Greenwood, but he had to go and hit women. Rashford. I'm keeping Rashford.
I think those would be my 3 players as well. I think because I remember when Bruno Fernandes arrived, we weren't expecting a whole lot out of him. And then he got on the field that first game, and he was coaching that team. And he coached them the rest of that year to a really good finish. And I feel like he could do that again, if the players weren't so beaten down from the actual manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I love Ronaldo, but he has actually been like one of the best things that happened this year. Like but if we want to actually go somewhere, like, because Ronaldo brings, like, even at 37, he's going to demand the ball.
Right.
Like, and it's like, you need to let him go somewhere else. It was nice to have him back for this year. He had some special moments, but I mean, that hat trick with Tom Brady in the house against Tottenham, that was awesome. But anyways, just that, I think that's going to be his last moment at United, the last shining thing, because it's just, he's not going to be around if there's no Champions League. And you're not building a team around a 37-year-old forward. I mean, you're just not.
No. No. And Ronaldo, well, yeah, okay. Ooh, wow. Ronaldo could be a nice piece. He just can't be the focal point anymore.
Exactly. And that's
he
where
wants to be, which is kind of the issue.
And you need a manager that's big enough to go up to him and be like, you're not going to play you're not playing every game, but when we're gonna manage your games, because sorry, you are older. We know you're in the best shape ever for a 37-year-old, but we need to manage your time so we get the best out of you. And
the best shape.
The last two managers weren't.
Ronaldo 37-year-old is not a 20 or 25-year-old in their best shape. Yeah.
Ronaldo has been a bigger personality than both of the managers this year. I mean, he has.
Yeah, right.
You can't have a player that's bigger than your manager. That just throws off the entire locker room. Everybody at Liverpool respects Klopp. I mean, even Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, even the big guys there.
Right.
When Klopp starts talking, I guarantee they shut up.
Right.
So
yeah,
until we get a guy like Klopp, someone that commands the respect of the players in that locker room, it's not going to change. We're going to be finishing right around 5th, 6th, or 4th.
Yeah.
And I'd rather blow it up and then finish in 10th and 11th for a little bit and then move back up.
Well, yeah, 6 and 7 for the talent on that roster
is ridiculous.
Not acceptable.
It's shameful for the amount of money these guys make. It's shameful.
Yeah. At the bottom of the table, we have an interesting thing shaking out here. Everton lost to West Ham today, which now they still have a couple of games in hand over the teams in the drop zone, but the way they're playing, it's not looking very good.
I mean, at least they're 3 points above the drop.
Right. But that's not, I mean, with 7 games left, that's not safety. No. What would it mean to the Premier League to lose this team? Like, I understand that they haven't won a championship in a long time, but they've been a top half finisher for as long as I can remember. What's gone wrong here?
Well, what went wrong was apparently they had that owner come in. It was like, I want to say like an oil rich guy, but then he left the club, but he spent a lot of money. But then he left, and it left the club like, what? Like, we kind of needed you to pay. Like, that's how they got James Rodriguez and all these guys. And it's like, holy shit. Like, how do you go from that one year to this? In a minute, like, it's like, what is it? Talk about like a schizophrenic club.
Right.
Like, and then they have a new ground they're building. So it's like, it's just, this team needs, with that new ground that they're building, they need to survive and stay in the Premier League, which I think they will. I think they have enough talent in that team that they should stay up. If they don't, to me, it's like an impact, like losing Newcastle, because I mean, the Premier League survives on its top 4, on its big clubs. Everton is just like it's like a fan. It's like Everton's like the guy that knows about the Premier League. Like, I like Everton. It's like, oh, who's that? It's like, oh, I know about Everton. It's like, it's not named after a city. It's like a place in a city. So that's how I like Everton before everybody knew about that. It's like they'll be fine, because the championship will bring up a club that everyone will talk about. Like, I feel bad for Burnley. I think Burnley's going down. They've had such a good.
It certainly looks like it.
They've been so fun up in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like Burnley has taken a lot of scalps, and when they go on the championship, I hope they come back up. I gotta say, they kind of became a mainstay. Like I like having Burnley up in the Premier League.
Yeah, it will certainly be a problem if Everton ends up in the championship with a brand new Premier League stadium. How you? I mean,
That's
another.
I mean,
that's
at
another.
least you get that parachute money. And I think if Everton were to go down, they would come right back up. They would be that Premier League team that went down and then just they're not going to be like a
Maybe.
Sheffield United.
Sunderland. We thought Sunderland would make it back.
Everton is not a.
They haven't.
I mean, Everton is not a Sunderland. They're not that bad. Sunderland. I mean, you want to talk about how do you fuck up a team that bad?
I don't know.
Or are they in League One, League Two? What?
I think so. It's not even. I mean,
that's bad, man.
They're essentially playing pub football right now, and doesn't like they were a Premier League team.
I mean, up in the north, you got Newcastle and Sunderland. Like they're big fan bases, and to have that, I mean, it's going to be a story when they do come back up. Hopefully, if they do, but not everybody does. I mean, Nottingham Forest, everybody's still waiting for them to come back up. I mean, they've won a Champions League or whatever European trophy, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Yeah, football is a fickle mistress.
It's a crazy game. I mean, well, it's a crazy game. It's a football. I mean, if anything, it's just get yourself a good owner that has a lot of oil money, and you'll be fine. Or
on that note,
from Boston.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap up the Whirlwind Week in Review.
We're wrapping it up.
There we go. There's the visual. There's the visual I was looking for. All right. Love and hate it, kid.
Okay.
What do you love this week, sir?
Well, I love this week. I'm going to say I love the fact that it seems that Ukraine is starting to beat back the Russian army. That's what I'm going to love this week because I'm dying to talk about this.
Yeah. Yes.
During our time off, there was an invasion of a sovereign nation.
Right.
Which is insane to say in this. Like, we had to deal with a pandemic, and then Russia's just like, fuck it. Let's just invade our neighbor.
Oh, yeah? Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Hold my beer.
You think pandemic's bad? Wait till I start committing war crimes. I mean,
jeez.
One thing that's hilarious is that how bad Russia has been doing in this. I mean, as an American, we're kind of like, as an American, we're like war aficionados. We're like war snobs.
Yeah. Really, we have a war channel.
I mean,
on cable.
It's
amazing.
I mean, if there's one thing that we know, it's how to blow up a country.
It is how to
Russia has done it very badly, and which is good for Ukraine.
Fortunately,
good for Ukraine.
Right. They've been really bad at this.
Putin, I think he got sold a bill of goods by his generals. Like, yeah, Russia's just like the Soviet Union. We're just as strong as the Soviet Union. And it's like, no, the Soviet Union was huge, had 15 more nations in it, and was spending an amount of money on their military that was almost comparable to us. So it's like, Russia is not the Soviet Union.
Well, part of the reason for that is Russia is on its face a democracy. They have elections and the president is elected, but it's actually an oligarchy, and and more precisely, it's a kleptocracy, right?
Yeah.
You have got the oligarchs control the government, and they siphon money away from it to line their own pockets, right? So what's been happening for the last 20 years is Russia has been spending money on their military, but it hasn't been going to the military.
No, it has not.
It's been going to the $800 million yachts that are docked in Dutch ports, right? It's not going to tanks and bombs and missiles and training.
No.
It's going everywhere else. And for some reason, the head kleptocrat in the state didn't realize that. And I guess he thought that the military money was going to the military.
Yeah. It's like when your general shows up blinging like pimped out in his Mercedes, like, you know,
Right,
bro.
like, what did you think was going on?
They don't. I've never seen an army go like. I'm so happy that Ukraine. It's amazing. I mean, I just thought the Russia would have a better army, because I thought they would look at what we've done in the modern day and age and being able to be like, all right, this is what you wish. This is the mistakes the United States have made. This is what they've done right. Let's, you know, you should kind of model yourself after our military. I mean, I know it sounds a little braggadocious, but you should. The fact that they didn't, and then to think that NATO wasn't going to support Ukraine. I mean, NATO has dumped, and this has changed Europe it's turned Europe on its head. Germany has bumped up their military spending like over $100 billion.
Yeah,
this is gonna. I mean, all Putin was said is like worried about NATO and all this, trying to denazify Ukraine, which is ridiculous.
all he did was strengthen NATO.
Yeah, NATO
was the thing he didn't want to do.
NATO was going to fade away and die. People like nobody in Europe was spending money on the military. It was the United States propping it up. And then that's the only thing. Like, I don't agree with anything Donald Trump said, but yeah, he was right about that. But I don't care, because there wasn't any need to. There wasn't any need for those European nations to spend on their military, because there was no threat.
Right.
But now Putin he's basically woken up NATO, and like,
yeah,
it's done everything he didn't want it to do.
Yes.
He wanted to show the big Russian bear come in and take out Ukraine. Look how strong we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's single-handedly ruining his military.
I think, unfortunately, he still might accomplish the goal here, just because I don't see the circumstances under which NATO intervenes, and Ukraine is a lot small. Like, yes, they're actually much better fighters than the Russians are. I mean, like a lot better. But in terms of size and equipment, they can't really match up.
But when your equipment sucks, like the Russian equipment does, and
yes.
you have, I mean, what has changed the warfare, like flip warfare on set, is these new man-portable like missiles that they have, like the Javelin and the NLAW and all that stuff. That, I mean, I knew the Javelin was awesome, but like the Americans were using it to shoot at terrorists in caves, or Al Qaeda in caves. I don't want let's just say terrorists. That sounds like so Republican. At Al Qaeda in caves. And I mean, we weren't even using it for what it was designed for. And then seeing what it can do, it's like, my God. I mean, I would not want to be a Russian guy in a tank.
I would not, no.
Because you got a guy with a $200,000. I mean, if you just want to talk about economics, there's a multi-million-dollar tank that is being taken out by a six-figure weapon. One guy. That's why I think Russia is going to lose. That's why I think Russia is going to lose this thing. For one, Russia is still fighting a special military operation, and Ukraine is fighting a war. Mm-hmm. Ukraine's the whole nation has gotten up and is mobilized into fighting against Russians. I think, I mean, he's pulling out of Kiev. The Ukrainians has cut that Kiev force in half, and he's going to move them to the east. I think the only thing he can do is lock down Donetsk and Luhansk region, and that's about, he might keep those. But
the one
I don't think the Russian military is even going to be able to do that. I think Ukraine's going to kick them all the way out of the country.
The one thing Russia has always been willing to do in warfare is just throw soldiers at the front line. Like World War II, that is all they did. They just threw men out there until they overwhelmed the Germans.
Well,
can they get away with that now? I don't know.
No, they don't have. That's a different day and age. Like, they're talking about Soviet times. that's a different mindset, because if you didn't, follow the party line, you just get killed. So it's like,
well,
Russia isn't.
Is it that much different now?
You just get poisoned now.
You
You don't get shot, you get poisoned.
You
At least you have a chance
die,
of surviving. You have a chance of surviving the poison. I mean, because they always use like old, like even their poison's like expired and it doesn't really do much. Like, I mean, I feel bad for these Russian soldiers.
Stamp on the bottom of it.
Yeah, it's still good. It's still good.
We need new poison. This poison outdated.
I know it's going to sound really stupid, but the only last thing I want to say about this, I wish, after seeing the indiscriminate bombing and the shelling that the Russians have done to Ukrainian cities and all the civilians they've killed, I wish NATO would go in and do a no-fly zone and just. I don't think we should let Ukraine just suffer like this, even though you got politics and stuff. I'm sorry. I think NATO should go in there and just be like, and you make it very clear, we're just here to Russia. You're leaving Ukraine. We're not invading Russia, but you got to go. I just watching all these civilians, watching all these civilians die. It's just, and then we need to go down to Yemen and stop the Yemen war and stop all these fucking wars.
Yeah, there are complications to that.
I feel it is sad. The saddest thing about this is like how much you're like, let's just call it the white world cares about Ukraine when this stuff has been going on in Africa and in the Middle East for fucking, that's just been going on for 10 years, the same fucking thing, and no one gives a fuck about it. I mean, let's just call that on its head.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
I have to try to compartmentalize that, or else I won't be able to talk about anything.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I mean,
you're right. Like this happens. This happens all the time. It's just the fact that it's happening in Europe now is the big deal.
Is that the people that are refugees now look like them? It's like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Right.
It's like
now we have empathy for them because they look like us.
because they're white, and it's like, it's sad to say, but
yeah.
Europe is very racist too. Like, let's not. I mean, America, we got our own breed of racist, but like Europe, they're very racist.
Oh sure, racism.
I mean, they cut up Africa. I mean, at least we didn't do anything to Africa.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
if we could have, we would have.
Nothing after the 1600s. After we took all the people. Right.
If we could have, we would have.
All right. Let's see.
What do you love?
Oh man, I don't even know. It's been that kind of a week. Let's see. What's
my
out
love
there?
was a war. That's how bad this week is.
Man, I don't know. What do I love? Oh, so we've been Christina and I decided to try something different. So we ordered these.
I don't need to hear about this. I mean, you guys do what you want to do. I'm proud of you, but
Well, I have to tell everyone about this because no,
it's that good. It's that good.
So we started ordering we're doing this HelloFresh thing. It's like this meal delivery kit thing that you cook up yourself.
You're talking about food, okay?
Yeah. So we get like one or two meals a week that come and they send you the ingredients and the recipe and you cook it up yourself. And so it's like I cook often, but I don't cook like a huge variety of stuff. So the nice part about this,
I know what I like to cook.
Right. So but the nice part about this is you kind of get to try stuff and that I wouldn't normally make, and then you get to keep the recipe. So if you want to make it again on your own later on, then you can. So that's been kind of a cool little change of pace there.
That is really cool. Like, I've tried one of those boxes, and like this is going to be like the total, like the Ken and Mark show in its essence. Like you're talking about HelloFresh. I imagine you purchased it and it came to your house and it was meant to be yours. Well, one day I came home and there was a box in front of my door. It was HelloFresh. It wasn't addressed to me, but I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. I don't have much food, so I'm going to take this box in and I'm going to eat it. It was really good. The recipes, we had some these nice Mediterranean tacos. I got to say, the person who ordered that would have really enjoyed it. But I just got to say, I loved it. I would recommend to buy.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
If you were talking about the difference between these two people right here, that's it. We both tried HelloFresh. I stole mine. He bought his.
This is a hell of a show. What do you hate this weekend?
Oh man, what do I hate this week? I hate. I didn't know about woman of being poisoned. Why is that so funny? A human being poisoned should not be comical.
I feel like it's just that guy though. Like it's like I don't know.
I gotta say, what do I hate this week? I hate that I'm getting old and becoming a curmudgeon, and that I see what happens to people when they get old. They start turning more conservative and stuff. And like it started happening to me, where it's like I've gotten like where I was like old man yelling at Sky about. Not everyone's a hero. Just because you lived and do something, like it doesn't automatically make you a fucking hero. Like heroes are they're just someone who does something extraordinary in a situation they shouldn't normally. It's like that's to me that's we throw around. It's like we throw around a genius and hero like it's
words have no meaning anymore. Yeah,
Einstein
words have
was
no
a
meaning.
genius. Yeah, it's like like I love Gen Z for all the shit that they have brought up and woken us up to, but like. Some of the shit's like, come on.
Kanye West is not a genius.
Yeah, he's not. Yeezy, not a genius.
No, not a genius.
Not even that. I'm sorry, not even that good a rapper. Don't even really like. Not his biggest fan.
You have entered what I like to call the get off my lawn phase of life, Ken.
Yeah, it's just like I've actually like, what are these kids? This isn't music. What is that stuff?
What is this garbage?
But I will say though, a lot of the kids' music they're making nowadays. I went on YouTube and I did one of the like mixes where it's like new music. There's some good stuff. I gotta say.
Do they?
The kids are gonna be all right.
Are they though?
Yeah, no, they will be because I got a feeling that the generation after us, they're actually gonna they're gonna be more inclusive, and I think there'll be a lot. There's definitely a blurring of gender and race. So fuck it.
I hope they will be because we've done a really bad job at it. So
I say our
generation, better than we are.
We're in that like our generation is kind of like in that middle ground where it's like we do some good stuff, but we still have a lot of we still have racist elements to us.
We do. It's not good.
But at least we're man enough to admit it.
Fair enough. Let's see.
What do you hate? What do you hate?
Let me see. I had something and then I'm old, so I forgot it. And now I'm trying to get it back. And I was hoping you would stall just a little bit longer.
Oh, I could.
You asked me, and then I was like,
I'm a horrible person. I'm a thief.
I would like to co-sign that the idea that words have no meaning anymore. Yeah, it's I do remember what it was.
Yes,
right.
haha.
45 things start happening. So
only at 45, so I got a couple more years.
You got a few years left. I read a story this weekend.
Oh shit.
Last week in Antarctica.
Oh no.
Temperatures in Antarctica are 70 degrees above normal. 70 degrees above normal. It is
so that like a balmy 20 degrees now.
In parts of Antarctica, it is above freezing.
Oh fuck.
And it's fall in Antarctica. It is going into winter.
Oh, that's right. Oh fuck.
It is insane.
Yeah, well, the human race has fucked this planet. Like,
Yeah.
like all these, like you've seen like the international climate reports that, like, I forget the name of the group, that it's some kind of international committee that scientists that studies this stuff,
Yes.
climate scientists, and they put out report like we're pretty well fucked. We're
Yeah.
like, we would have to, like, everybody turn off every combustion engine in the world until, which I don't understand. Like, if I was a country, if you were to try to go to green and really invest in it, you could create so many jobs and bring technology to your country by cutting out these fossil fuels that I think you would have a net positive for your country.
I think you probably would too, but no one wants to take the risk.
Nobody wants to be the first one to be like, you know what, fuck it.
No.
But if I'm like Estonia or like Latvia, a small enough country that maybe I could,
Yeah,
you
know who's not affected by oil shortages? People who don't use oil.
Yeah.
Weird.
I mean, it's just, I feel, but I hate how people talk about, like, they're concerned about the grandchildren and the future generations when it comes to economics and them having to pay bills. But if they don't have an earth to live on, they're not going to be able to pay any fucking bills. There ain't going to be bills to pay. So
yeah, that's kind of
like,
the short-sightedness that
everyone's so worried about. Oh, we're leaving a debt for our grandchildren. It's like, you're not leaving a fucking planet for them. Like, worry about that. To me, like, arable land is more important than fucking a bill you owe. I don't know.
And money, what is money anyway? Right?
It's fake.
It's value for service, right? So it's a thing that we make up.
Yeah.
To say this amount of time is worth this amount of whatever, right? Yep. We can restructure the economic system anytime we want to.
Oh yeah. It's made up anyways. We can just remake it.
We can't restructure the planet.
No. That's finite. That's just how it is.
That's what's there now. That's all there is. That's all there's ever going to be.
And to me, like, we should treat oil like as a resource that we're going to need, because we make everything out of it.
Right.
It's not just fuel for heating and stuff like that. It's all of our plastics.
Most, like, I mean, most oil is not used for fuel. It's
like
used for other
things.
things.
I'd say modern medicine owes more to plastic than just about anything.
Yes.
And that's why I think we should guard it. It's a resource that we should still use, but we should guard it and, like, really, we should rein in how much we're using, because we're going to need it. Like, in 100 years, people are still going to need plastic. But if we've used up all the fucking oil, how are they going to make it?
Right. Well,
I mean, I guess mushrooms make everything.
Well,
you can make everything out of fucking mushrooms.
They'll have to recycle all the plastic, and it will be really expensive.
First, they have to figure out how to recycle. So apparently, that was a big scam.
Well,
when I heard that, I was like, well, fuck me.
The amount of recycling was a big scam. The ability to do it is there. The ability to do it on a large scale economically is not.
See, that's the thing. They got to throw out this whole economically. If you can do it and it costs money, fucking do it.
They can do it.
Just do it. I'm sure if we can subsidize oil companies, we can subsidize a fucking recycling factory.
And we're a lot better at recycling certain things, like paper. Real easy to recycle.
Well, we've been doing this since the Stone Age.
Yeah, aluminum is actually cheaper to recycle than it is to mine. So that's a good.
That's labor. That's real energy intensive to make aluminum. I mean, you see how they make that shit. It's crazy. It's nuts. So
aluminum, steel is easier to recycle than it is to make, but plastic is recyclable, but it's not cheaper to do that than it is to make new plastic.
But I think when it comes to plastic, you cannot make the same item out of the item that you're like, the plastic bottle you recycle can't be turned back into a plastic bottle. It's got to be turned into like a bag or some shit.
Yeah, it's some,
or a sweater.
There's some like loss involved in the
there's some scientific polymer structures.
Yeah.
We can sound real smart and talk about polymer chains and structure, you know, and crystalline structures of when you
No, because
when you temper the polyurethane, you change it.
We'll get a comment from somebody on YouTube going, well, that's not how polymer chains work, you guys.
I
What
actually
actually
hope,
happens is
I would kill for the day that someone actually says, well, actually, at the 45th minute mark, Ken says,
we've been well actually, Ken. All right.
oh, dude, I would love that. I would pay someone money to, well, actually, yes. Well, actually, it's time for you guys to leave. You talked about how long the last episode was.
Well, actually, that's probably a pretty good idea. I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Kid and Mark Show. You can view us on YouTube, and you can contact us on YouTube. I think I don't know how comments work.
No, you just stay right and they hit enter.
You hit enter, and then something shows up.
View the video. Cool. Even if you just want to do it to make fun of us, just as long as we get the views, I don't care. Doesn't
matter what you call me, as long as you call me.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. Awesome. Well, Kent, it's been a pleasure.
It's been real and it's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun.
I'm gonna make some lunch because I'm starving.
You're gonna make a HelloFresh?
I am gonna make a HelloFresh.
Don't get that around me because I might steal it.
Today is citrus chicken spaghetti.
Ooh,
or something.
That sounds refreshing and delightful.
I'm gonna go see how that works out.
I hope that sounds delicious.
I hope so.
I mean, you got citrus, chicken, and spaghetti. What's not to love? Mix it all together, put it in a bowl, and make it a manja. Manja, Mark. You're too skinny, Mark. Come on, a manja.
That is not my problem. That is not my problem.
To every Italian grandmother, you're always too skinny.
Well, yeah, okay. That's fair. That's fair.
All right. On that note,
sir. All right.
I'm signing off.